there's so much to talk about. There's a threat that is looming. Um, what I might call a self-afflicted threat if care is not taken in the Niger crisis, which I'm sure a lot of you know about. Now, when it now gets to a point where our own commander-in-chief here says that he's giving Niger 7 days out on behalf of ECOWAS, though, but of course Nigeria is playing the lead role. And I'll have you know that, to be honest, even if it was another president that was saying it, it is still Nigeria that will carry most of the can. But as it were, this came on. So you know the coup that took place in Niger. You also know about the other countries, and I've just been told this morning that Algeria, is that right? Bakapi? Algeria, okay, so Algeria has also expressed support for Niger. Now remember, there's a lot of international politics going on behind the scene, which is a development that goes up every minute. You know, if you had a news wire put on that crisis alone, it would be updated every minute. But that's not what bothers me, and I'm sure bothers you, is so many questions, you know, and as usual, this is my gentleman that I rely on. Let me tell you something about when you have people of interest that you love, people you always bring back. It's because over time, you know that you have a fair idea, you know that they know what they're talking about. B, you trust them. Many times in this job, you could be set up. Most of you need to know that. So if you keep saying that, why the same person? It's like asking me why I come to work every day. You know, I call. In any case, I'm in touch with this gentleman every blessed day, and a few other people. When it comes to law issues, liberals, and my very good friend, my Cuban friend, and so on and so forth. Morning, Capi. How are you?
Very well, sir.
There's Captain Blade here, and we want to talk. We just want to rub minds, as we will do over time, because it's a developing issue. So, and over time, Captain and I will be rubbing shoulders. So, Capi, morning.
Morning, sir.
This idea that this order that we give to Niger, that they should go back to status quo in 7 days, or what? You tell me.
Or it's left to be seen. That's the way I can.
That's
put
the way
it.
you can
Yes,
put it.
or it's left to be seen. First of all, let me condole with our lost doctors' family.
Oh, yes.
It's painful.
Oh, yes.
Doctors are a very critical mineral resource which
Oh,
we do not
yes.
have enough,
Oh, yes.
and somehow we've lost one. May her soul rest in peace.
Under circumstances that could have been avoided.
It was avoidable, actually.
Avoidable.
That's what I spoke about. If you recall, I spoke once here about provoking the unexpected.
Yes.
And I said then, if you recall, we were talking about coups. And I said political conduct, responsible political conduct is the biggest deterrent to coups.
Yes.
And I spoke specifically during the President Muhammadu Buhari days then, just a few months ago, and I told you our politicians should not rely on the fact that because America denounces coups, then they should provoke the unexpected. Our politicians in Francophone West Africa have provoked the unexpected. And the unexpected has heeded their call. It's unfortunate.
Wow.
That is just it. I hope we're taking cue from there.
Is it any worrying that you have 3 other countries in that same axis that are under military rule? Burkina Faso,
Yes.
Guinea, Mali?
Yes, there is, because it all started based on my own strategic intelligence adventures. I sit down and I just nose around. You see, something happened, and 2 women, and recently one, challenged the ego of the average Francophone West African leader. In fact, bruised their egos. The first one was Amata Aido. She was a popular writer. She gave one heart-rending rendition of what the colonial masters do and have been doing to Africa for 500 years.
Wow.
Next, if you read Wangari Maathai, I believe she is of blessed memory now. I don't know. I stand to be corrected. Wangari Maathai was also another very prolific writer. And lately, it was Arikana. The other name is...
These things happen.
She has a very... I don't know. Her name is Arikana Chino something. But she also did something that set people wondering for real. And the rest, as they say, is history. We are where we are. Coming to our own 7 days ultimatum, or else we march in. For me, I'll say that's an odyssey we're about to undertake. Because, you see, the commander-in-chief can sit down and say, go to Niger. It's just one sentence. If you start computing the logistics and what that is involved, because once that is given, commanders will issue a warning order. Once you tell me as your chief to march on any state, I will issue a warning order immediately. And a warning order immediately sets off what we call battle preparation. The units that will go will start getting their own. Everybody is going to be, concurrent activities will be taking place all over. And the cost alone is not what I think we're in the mood right now as a nation to
accommodate. Yeah.
The cost in terms of finances, the cost in terms of humans, soldiers that are battle weary, soldiers fought back to back for the last 8 years because our president then was goat-headed. He wouldn't listen to anyone. Those of us like me who dared to say it pop and plain were intimidated. But today, history has vindicated everyone. We know where we are. We cannot afford another military odyssey. Our soldiers are battle weary. And apart from that, don't forget, it's a francophone anglophone team. The average Nigerian is seeing Englishmen coming into his country to violate them. That's how they're going to look at it. Just play the devil's advocate. Step to the other side and take an outside-in look at what Nigeria wants to do. So Nigeria is about to do what America tried to do in Cambodia and Vietnam. And the last donkey, the last fowl in Francophone Niger will not accept it.
May I ask if we are talking Nigeria being the lead just because the president of ECOWAS is a Nigerian, or would if the president had been from some other country, Nigeria would still take the lead?
You see, it's so circumstantial that we have the ECOWAS president as a Nigerian. But you see, when this thing called belief and other what you call behavioral affiliations is concerned, like religion, nationalism, you know, when it comes to what you call self-identification, you cannot tear it out of this particular one. The average street man in Niger is not into all these things we are saying. All he knows is Englishmen are coming to Niger to come and do what? And that itself is the ideology behind which those officers in Niger will rally the population. So when you are doing this, our troops are going into what you call no man's land. No, not no man's land. They are going into a ground not of their own choosing. Look at it this way. If you were playing an away match as a football team, the confidence levels you have, you may lose, you may win, but there's this comfort you have when you play a home match. Now you're going to do an away fight. And don't forget, we are not fighting in self-defense. They did not aggress us. They did not attack us. But we are going there to what? Impose.
You're still looking at it as if it's a Nigerian Niger thing.
That's what the man on the street is going to see. Stop, Uncle Jimmy, come down from all these strategic, all these high-sounding policies they sit on the table. The foot soldiers that will wear bathroom slippers and sabotage my brothers, soldiers, are not generals. And the ideology behind which they are seeing it is what I'm telling you.
The Punch made a reference to the impulsive nature of the president and commander-in-chief. So, do you think there could have been enough? Okay, let me rephrase it. Do you think that had the service chiefs been consulted and briefed fully, they would have approved that 7-day ultimatum?
No, 7 days would have definitely been too short. You see, we are in a place where the president has to do something for me, if I am not too small to ask. I once told you here that Nuhu Ribadu, being our NSA, has to be 4 things at once: a lion, a fox, a peacock, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a lion, a fox, a peacock, and he has to have large ears to listen. So it's not the time to play lion now. It's time to play peacock. This is not a place where you can enter with your guns blazing. See, let me tell you something, Uncle Jimmy. Even if we go there and subdue this thing, those people go follow us reach house. The reason is simple. The Nigerian border is some 1,600 kilometers long, contiguous to Nigeria. Contiguous to Nigeria. And don't forget, they were helping us hold the fort for terrorists. We had a joint understanding with them. Now, if that understanding crashes, where do you see happening to us within the next 20 years on a 1,600 contiguous border span, for which we know we have border challenges?
Well, part of the ambition is to change the leadership to one that is more amenable to ECOWAS. That's the polite way I can put it.
Yes.
So if that is achieved, what would that affect the thinking of the average Nigerian?
It will not. You see this 7 days ultimatum, I wish the president was not so quick to put it up. The reason is this: if it falls through, we have a situation. If it doesn't fall through, it diminishes whatever is left of the majesty of this Nigerian country we occupy.
Do you think that our service chiefs should have settled into their job, the vis-a-vis also the National Security Advisor, for us to take on this kind of responsibility so quickly?
No. And I'll tell you why. You see, what the president does, or what the president did, in my opinion, he probably made the... You know how we do it here. We first of all roof the house before we think of the foundation. Here, he probably just said it first and then told the service chiefs, go and see to it.
Well, like the subsidy thing, it's something that is coming up, and we shouldn't be too polite not to call attention to it and see if it is something that the nation needs to handle. I mean, for God's sake, we have the lives of 200 and something million people here at stake. I don't like an impulsive nature of a leader. No, you know, I feel extremely uncomfortable with it, because that causes a lot of damage, you know.
Yes.
Sometimes irreparable.
You know, just imagine Nigeria was this massive ship with over 200 million people on it. You can imagine, you have to be careful how you steer the
you steer the ship.
Exactly, you can't just steer it anyhow. So we are a country that is so big and diverse that you know, our leaders will have to fast on words sometimes.
Well, you know, the unfortunate thing is that we are running the way the presidency is structured in Nigeria. I would say is what I would call a mild dictatorship. You either fall in with the president or you fall out. And I think it's a mistake that was made ab initio. Okay, look, even at state level, no speaker with them born and well can face any governor and say, sorry, you know. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, you know.
Look, sorry, one second. Look at the incidents, a simple incident in Lagos now of this doctor. It's symbolic. Of so many things. You would, by now, you would be expecting the speaker to put because it's an executive problem. To make it worse, it's their own facility.
Yes.
The general hospital is owned by the government, and at the very least should be an example of how, in terms of safety procedures and so on and so forth. You know, but it's not going to happen. Yeah. So what you are going to find is, in National Assembly, the Senate president is forever grateful. The National Security Advisor is forever grateful. The Secretary of State is forever grateful. The President is forever grateful. The National Security Advisor is forever grateful. The Secretary of State is forever grateful. The President is forever grateful. The Secretary of State 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 is forever grateful. The Everybody knows that, he's favored towards, to put it in some kind of euphemism, favored towards whatever the president does.
Yes, but sorry to interject, but
Yes.
you see, whatever the president does in quotes,
Yes.
you see, there is this place, Clan Blade. I don't know if I'm allowed to say
Clan
that.
Blade?
Yes, Clan Blade.
You own it?
Yes, I own it.
What is it about?
Clan Blade is a website, is a blog spot
Okay.
where I wrote the sights, sounds, and smell of security in Nigeria. You see, it was just a deliberate attempt. It started, we should be on the third serial now. There are going to be 6 serials. It's an attempt to stretch your mind and make you understand how the cross-functionalities of our existence inform the sights, the sounds, and the smell of security in Nigeria. Bringing it back to what you are saying about our leaders being ipso facto. You see, there is no such thing in democratic governance. If you want to actually see the fastest way to underestimate a country and make her enemies bolder, you look to the behavior of the leaders, and also you look to the behavior of those little things that inform what we call our national security posture. Health security. Doctors are dying in lifts. You think it will not affect health security? If leaders are actually employing thuggery, for example, and undermining their armed forces with some ebullient and rude rascals, you think it will not affect military security? If the roads are not good and cars are falling and tankers are falling, what is transportation security going to look like? And if people cannot go to farm and farm, do you think you can have food security? That is the sight, the sound, and the smell of security in Nigeria. You can find your read on Clan Blade. So until we begin to understand these things and make our leaders see that all of it is actually cross-functionally interdependent. If one thaws or one melts, it will affect the other.
By the way, when you talk about rascals without mentioning their names, their recent activities, how do you think it should be perceived by personnel in the military?
It's not too telling, but my problem is not with my dear armed forces. I know that we don't need a platoon to crush those things if they are even human beings. You know what one Lieutenant Colonel Babiaka did in OD way back?
Yes.
Lieutenant Colonel is not an army commander. If a Lieutenant Colonel is a battalion commander, if you know what I'm talking of strength-wise, you know that the army doesn't need a platoon to go and do some...
With the rascals.
That is it. Because when you look at what is happening, my problem is not even the effect it's going to have on the army. I know the army will contain whatever demoralizing things they do easily. It's our enemies. That kind of activity diminishes the majesty of our armed forces before our enemies.
That's true.
It makes our enemies bolder and more daring, and that's more fight for the armed forces.
Yeah, because wars are not won and lost just by guns and
No, not at all.
Psychological.
Psychologically, there's what you used to call, I listen to you, you call it the optics.
Optics, yes.
Exactly. The optics are not good at all, not for national security. And don't forget, I told you, if anybody looks from outside in, not from inside in now, those who are in there may be sworn to oath, so they cannot say certain things. But I'm looking from outside in, and I'm telling you, my boys are battle weary. It's not easy to fight for 8 years with people diminishing the majesty of the armed forces along the lines, by the sidelines again. So
apparently with some support from the top.
Of course. If there is no support from the top, you won't go sit under my commander-in-chief's seal and make such pronouncements. The seal of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So these things are things that we must take a look at, and these things are things Mr. President must come to terms with. I remember someone saying here that campaign is over. Yes. You are now a president. There are some things those around you may not tell you, but then you need a shadow cabinet. And what is a shadow cabinet? A shadow cabinet is people like me and you
And
who can punch holes into whatever you want to do
okay, we'll take it
before the public does it. Yes, you see,
I
that is
don't-
it. It's a balancing act.
I understand what you mean. But the political terrain, for me here, it defies all kinds of logic. We're going to take a short break, and when I come back, we'll continue our discussion with Captain Blade. So don't go away.
Start Dial Daily Digest returns in a moment.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
See my brother no go come. If they ask for your CVV, no go drop palm. If anybody tell you say hey I'm calling from the bank, can you send me your PV and make you block calm? Come back by the world more bill. If they want you pin, tell them no will. NCDC no they share free more nil. Make you no go carry mulatro will or the go bill. Protect your password. Use two factor, make your account no go actor. And make you know they click links that you can't trust, or you go receive a lot you can't account for. No go for my God. No go lose God.
No go for MAGA. Confirm am again.
This message is brought to you by the Bankers Committee, Central Bank of Nigeria, in partnership with the Committee of Chief Information Security Officers of Nigerian Financial Institutions.
Your Nutrilicious Bama is now available in sachet.
Sure you like to save your money? I dey save my money. It dey sweet your body. It dey sweet my body. Happy toilet cleaner. Yepa. Only shikini money. Sure you like to save your money? I dey save my money. It dey sweet your body. It dey sweet my body. Happy toilet cleaner. Yepa. Only shikini money. And it dey shine well well. No be wash. No be wash. One tap, small brush, one flush. One flush. It be things, it go clean, it go bright. No germs for the site. It go sweet your body. It dey sweet. Sure you like to save your money? I dey save my money.
Oh yeah, make una rush go buy 40 naira Happy toilet cleaner wey dey inside sachet. Make your toilet dey 10 times cleaner. E dey clean toilet well well and the price no dey tear pocket. So no waste time. Alele, go buy your own 40 naira Happy toilet cleaner and save plenty money today.
It's the jump off season with Super Commando Energy Drink on the biggest TV reality show in Nigeria. And the action never stops. Catch all the jaw-dropping drama, the heart-pumping excitement, and catch all the energy moments with your Super Commando in hand. Because if you snooze, you'll definitely lose.
Super Commando. The action continues. So fire on with Super Commando Energy Drink throughout this jump off season. Super Commando Energy Drink. Fire on.
Welcome to the Visa Summer Experience. Enjoy offers from merchants worldwide courtesy of Visa. Explore the world with complimentary hotel insurance. Relax in premium airport lounges worldwide. Check in with exotic hotel deals. Relish sweet deals on restaurants. Fuel your adventure with discounted car rentals. And if you want to shop online, we've got offers for you too. There is so much for every traveler. Visit visa.com.ng today.
So, we went on the streets to ask people how they love Nescafe Multi.
This multi, they sweet oh.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Whoever added more to Nescafe is a genius.
The way the coffee tastes, they mix with the sweet creaminess. And the malt taste, it not get me.
See, abeg, if you want greet me now, have a great multi day.
Well, you heard it live and direct. Start your day with a Nescafe Multi every day. And oh, have a great multi day. Start strong, finish strong. Nescafe. Your Nutrilicious Bama is now available in sachet.
If you're on Niger's Confirm Network, you get a super gift of 1,000 naira for just joining the network. You're welcome. 900% bonus on every recharge, 100% data bonus for 6 months, and double data bonus on your first recharge of the month. That's the 9 Confirm plan from 9 Mobile, and it's lit. So get a new SIM or dial star 1400 hash and start browsing, sharing, and creating more on Niger's Confirm Network. 9 Mobile, here for you, here for Niger.
Lord, no card, no cash. Ah, help me, help me.
Kuda Pay with USSD reporting for duty. I'll sort you out.
Kuda transfers on location. Send money to any Nigerian account for free. Fast.
Cash is hard. Kuda is easy. Get the Kuda app on your app store now.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is Daily Digest with Jimi Disu.
You welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu, and I still have Captain Blade here. We are talking about the recent developments in Niger Republic. Of course, we've diverted a little bit, but it's not unexpected in a discussion like this. Just to let you know, if we don't finish to our satisfaction today, we'll definitely, I'm on break next week. Okay, we'll find a way around it, okay? Anyway, okay, Capi, so how do you suggest we align our president with the realities? I mean, he's not going to be so busy. He's not going to be listening to this kind of program and so on and so forth. Who would Nigerians rely on to pump the truth into you understand, into his, because we obviously have a problem there. We can't run away from it. So for me, if we can't do anything, then let's sit back and wait for the worst. But surely, is there a way? Who do we run to? We can't run to the National Assembly. It's still the same political class. What about do you think the service chiefs, and by the way, do you think an NSA necessarily should have military experience? Does it help?
No. You see that we've had some very long military rule years. Is, if I could use the word, indulgent on that thinking that the NSA has to be a soldier or has past military experience. No. In all truth be told, the founding fathers of that agency were not soldiers. The man who started it, who, it went from NSO.
Yes.
Then the Rafindadis of this world of those days, they never laced their boots in any military camp for once. So if we have a soldier, added advantage, none.
Yeah.
But that does not mean it is cast that it must be a soldier or you must have military background. I used to tell people that I don't follow football, yes, but I used to know one man, Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
He did such a wonderful job on his club brand, Arsenal, but I never knew him to be a footballer.
That's true.
So what we are saying is the NSA need not be a general, but his successes can be driven by a coterie of generals.
Yes.
And NSA is not all about general.
After all, the country we seem to copy, United States, Condoleezza Rice was never a soldier.
In fact, the CIA's founder, Sherman Current, was a history lecturer.
But you know that those lecture things are undercover. We know the way you people
Yes,
operate.
but what I'm not saying is that he was not soldiering. He was reading history books.
History books.
But he had
also
yes.
it seemed.
Yes.
Okay, if you've watched enough of what's the name of this movie guy now? Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. You got it. Okay, back to the major issue. Back to the major issue. By the way, that young man there is one of the interns.
Okay.
So he's understudying me. So don't feel comfortable. Okay, he's just on he's learning on the job.
Yes, it's good. It's good.
It's good. Okay, so back to what I was saying. The now that the other countries, the four, I think. Guinea, Mali, Chad, and Burkina Faso have said plainly, they've said the troops have left ECOWAS and they've said they're ready to defend Niger. What's the implication of that?
For us, the implication is those two, Chad and Niger.
Yes.
The immediate implication are our contiguous neighbors. So where I feel a bit confident is wisdom is what is required. And I refuse to believe at his age, my commander-in-chief doesn't have enough of it. It's about wisdom. I'm telling you why now. With all due respect to those young men, you can see the age.
Yes.
It's just like what happened during the NSAS period. During the NSAS period, there was one young man called Lekan who just emerged winner of Big Brother Nigeria. I advised the then IG that that's your asset. Go for him. If you can bring him in with wisdom, he will become the face, the voice of the law enforcement agencies within that period, and you will rally the children back in. So it's about wisdom. It's about wisdom. You have young, hot-headed men who are sitting or presiding over these countries you mentioned right now.
Oh, yes.
You don't meet them with hot-headedness.
The one that comes to mind that bothers me the most is the Burkina Faso.
Exactly, the Burkinabe.
The Burkinabe, yeah.
Exactly.
It just took me back 30 years.
Yes. I also remember the things we did as subalterns.
Yes.
You know, all we need to hear is go from our commanders, and we were like hounds, dog hounds, foxhounds. So it's wisdom. And good enough, we have enough, is it septuagenarians? And there is enough wisdom to go around here. We can bring them in and rally, but not to meet them with the kind of thing. We do not really have, we can't afford that luxury now of going into fisticuffs.
I'm sure the phenomenon of military rule emerging in West Africa should be worrying to us.
Yeah,
The Yorubas have something.
Yes,
something
I
that
recall
calls
her
Mako,
name
Mako,
now.
Mako.
It's Arikana Chihombori.
Arikana Chikombori.
Yes, Arikana Chihombori Kwao. I've been booting since I've been trying, but it's come back now.
It's come back, yeah.
Now there was Wangari Matai, there was Ama Ata Aidu, there was Arikana Chihombori Kwao, there was one other one too. I'm still booting, she will come up. They were women who challenged the audacity of our African rulers. Their confidence was unfounded. They put it on the table as it was or as it is. And Arikana Chihombori did hers in 2019. And since then, things have not been the same. Because her children, by her age, it is her children that are the young talks that you are seeing. And if Mama said so, then it's bound to be right. So these are the areas we have to look at. And that's why I'm calling on our leaders that we need more of wisdom now.
Do you think that with the 4 countries under military rule, do you think that would have any influence on the Nigerian military, or on the country as it were? To put it in a more direct manner, I have this thing that this idea of military rule is spreading again, like it did when I was a very young chap.
You mean, we had the Arab Spring.
Yes, we had the Arab Spring.
West African
Spring. The African Spring, the African Spring, at least by West Africa, whatever, could jolly well be, if care is not taken, this thing could spread.
If you look,
because it's becoming a phenomenon that even it appears the young people might want to accept, probably out of the frustration of so many things.
If you look at it, I will prefer to put it this way, as I did some months back. Given what is happening, the wind that is blowing, if you are on my Facebook page, you see me talking about Christiana Rossetti and her poem, Who Has Seen the Wind. I've been mentioning that since 2020. It's a 2-stanza poem, Who Has Seen the Wind, by Christiana Rossetti. We used to sing that song when I was in nursery 2. I went to school at the age of 3, but nursery 1, not primary. I got to primary 1 at 6.
Make it not go be like some
If you went to Hawa Nursery School, Antunku Road in Kaduna, anytime between 74 and 75, nursery 1, you may have been my classmate. We used to say, who had seen the wind? Neither I nor you. But when the trees bow down their heads, the wind is passing by. The indicators right now is as I have said 2-3 months ago before this came. Let's not provoke the unexpected. Francophone political leaders did. let's take example from them and realign ourselves. That's just my response to that. Failing that, then it's left to be seen. It's not something I can be able to predict or something.
Yeah, I think anybody with anything with some gravitas would understand the implication of it without us. So the beauty of public speaking is when you don't see when you see certain things in a cynical way, and people quite understand it, but you can't. Your hands are up.
I can't just
939-0700. I know most of you would just like Captain Blade to talk on and on and on, but we must give you the chance to explain. To express yourselves, either in questions and whatever. Now, this is a very, very sensitive subject, okay? And we don't want to blow ourselves up before we ever got started. Remember that, what we're trying to do is to quietly advise government in national interest the way we see it from the outside. Of course, those who run the country, the government, they see a lot more than we do. But so that they can have a fair idea of what, because at the end of the day, Capi, it's not the what do you call all these tanks and guns and whatever that you carry. The support of the people is crucial. And they must have a clear understanding.
It's one thing to be in the inside, and it's another to be on the outside. So what I'm doing here at best is an outside-in perspective.
Okay.
So I'm closer to let me give you an example. This morning, when I jogged, I stopped by where they used to read newspaper. There is these people that used to collect one newspaper and 400 people will read it.
Yes.
And I don't go there because I want to buy a newspaper, but I just pretend I am just to listen to what people are saying. Sometimes I take a tricycle and go where I am going, and even deliberately start a conversation.
Yes.
Just to get a pulse shot of
the people's thinking.
Yes, the grassroots. Down there, what are people thinking about this thing that is happening? And what I'm telling you is right now, the country is not in mood for any more new theaters of war.
We're in a state of trauma.
We're tired.
We're tired. Not just the military. We're
don't
tired.
Need new theaters
we
of
can
war.
hardly feed ourselves now. I don't think we want to add that to it. Our lines are buzzing. So let's pick the first caller. Please be, let's all mind our language and have a nice conversation. Hello, good morning. Hello, morning.
Yeah, Uncle Jimmy, good morning, sir.
Morning, quickly, Chris.
Capi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All I had to say, to be a good leader, you have to be a good listener. Uncle Me, I have a question for you. How come people like Capi is not close to these people who are running the affairs of this country? There was a time he said, give me 6 months to head the police in this country. Did I listen? He mentioned the former president. I've been listening to him, all the suggestions. Well, the ball is in our court. Thank you.
Well, I think that the irony, Capi, correct me if I'm wrong, is in this culture of silence that our people have when they're close to government. All they think of is what they can't tell. I don't think they ever get to tell our leaders the truth. I haven't seen anybody walk out in principle from government.
Yes,
if there's any, I'd like to know.
It's all entrenched in this particular thing we do in this part of the world. Our loyalty is to the individual, not to the constitution.
Yes.
So you find that if you don't want to commit career suicide, then you can't afford to sound like me in any government.
Yes.
That's the pop and plain of it all.
Yes.
So if I went in, for example, I would rather sit. For example, if the security agencies called on me, I would rather sit on black ops.
What is black ops?
Beautiful. Black ops is simply what a shadow cabinet is to the commander-in-chief.
Yes. So you don't owe him anything.
Yes. My own is when you bring it on, I will punch holes right through it before you even take it out. Those things that opposition will tell you is what we will tell you indoors, so we can dot I's, cross T's, and make it as good and palatable as possible before we put it out.
Well, but what about the arrogance of a leader? Where a leader, if you have a know-all leader, I mean, the past one we had, though, that one was passive. The one we have now appears to be impulsive. And it bothers, it should bother anybody. Unfortunately, not even members of the cabinet or of the party or whatever. I don't know if any one of them can please help, hold and curtail. We've made our presidency too strong.
Yes,
So,
indeed. And
I wish we had the parliamentary system where
there's this Roman general, I think it was Marcus Aurelius, who actually had someone follow him all the time and whispered into his ears, "Your Excellency, you are still human." There is a way power will push you. There's this Lord, what's his name again? Is it Lord Anton or Lord Acton, who said power corrupts? Absolutely, power
corrupts.
So there are times you go into government and at a point you wake up one morning and start even thinking you are superhuman.
Okay, let's take another caller here. Hello, good morning. Hello, morning. Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is Akibo on the line.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I've heard all what our general has been spoken.
He's captain.
Yeah,
good morning, ma.
In ideas now. And also, he said we should give him a time into the government. I want to let you know that I cannot see eye, even with the help of a mirror. And all his idea he has, they may not totally be absorbed into the government, hence he's not a part and parcel of the government. But if he can tap them out as a gazette and give to the government, this is my idea. They should have a group, monetary group, a willing monetary group voluntarily to guide the government. So hence this one know that these are voluntary members of the Nigeria.
Okay, man.
Hello?
Okay, man. Thank you, man. You've had the
Thank
1
you.
minute.
I connect with her.
But I also think that we are not personalizing things here. He's not begging to be in government. He
really.
just used it as an
Yes,
example.
thank you for that.
So I don't want us to lose sight of that.
I was about to say that.
Yes.
I'm not here to campaign for myself. And when it comes to write-ups, there are more than many.
Many, yes.
They don't read.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
I'm serious. With all due respect.
I held my breath here.
I have read so much. I've written so much.
Hello?
Remember, sorry, just take that.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Good morning, Uncle Jide.
Morning.
Good morning, Captain Blake.
Good morning, sir.
Seriously, as I heard what our president said about giving orders to Niger, I feel very bad. What about our own security in this country? When did our president give order to fish out those perpetrators, bandits, and all these things? But look at what happened in Niger. Just once our president give order. So what is happening in our country? Does it mean that our president cannot give order?
Okay, all right. That's becoming political. So let's move on to the next one. We are looking at a solution to this problem, not from the political end.
As she was saying,
yes,
there was a time here, either here on another television channel or whatever. I recall speaking about the solution to this banditry at the onset. I gave it to a sitting Senate president. Project Ochoegweba, Taming the Shrew. It was just filed.
It won't,
so when I say this, and that's not the only one.
Okay, is it possible though?
Yes.
Now this is a risky one. Is it possible that we have a mole very close to the top?
There are moles everywhere.
Who could be misguiding the president?
Well, I wouldn't say misguiding, but if it is ears and the fly on the wall, you know what you call the fly sitting on the wall, exactly, they are everywhere. It now depends on the security agencies and your counterintelligence posture. Okay, even Christ had one. So,
I don't know.
Yes, there was one of them who gave him out for 36.
Oh, the Judas.
Exactly. So, if as exalted as he is.
Where did you give to Christ? I was going to put on my hands. Hello, good morning. Because we're running out of time. Hello. Hello, morning. Hello.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, quickly, please, madam. We have just a minute.
Uncle Jimmy, good morning.
Morning, just go on, please.
You see, what I want to say about what Captain Blade have been saying, the kind of people we have in the corridor of power, they cannot listen to him. Thank you.
Okay, for the clown. And what do you have in mind? How is that yesterday conflict? Everything
Forms that
what
happens. You did for
so certainly
the people who you to tell you a play where I'm out to attack like actions of temperature. There's so many things.
Okay, but what do you hope? Do you hope that there should be some? Or you hope we never